Okay, so we're going to talk about ProWriting Aid. Let me, real quick, let me share my screen. Yeah. Oh, here it is. All right, so you guys should be seeing my screen now, yeah? Okay, great.
Yep.
All right, so I've mentioned this before. There's a lot of various programs that you can use to edit your stuff. I've always said, you really shouldn't be self-editing your own stuff, right? You really shouldn't. If you are, then you're missing things, right? Because you're just too close to it. You need someone, even me, who is an editor. I was getting other editors to edit my stuff, right? Just because I can do it doesn't mean I can do it for me. And the reality is, a lot of us, most of us, all of us, are not making money writing. And so if we were to hire an editor, it's minimum $600-700, and probably, and then upwards to 2,000, right, to hire an editor to do your book. And it's a lot of money.
So you're saying we should give up writing and become editors.
Exactly. Now you're cutting into my business. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, I can't afford that, right? So my next book, my current book, is not going to have a person I'm going to hire to be an editor. Well, let me throw this out. You guys have probably heard of Fiverr, and you can hire people off Fiverr for very cheap. I have a lot of the clients that I've dealt with in editing, I got after Fiverr fucked it up, right? After the wrong people, they hired somebody off the internet for, $100, $150, and they got shit and lost their money. So I feel like you take a chance with someone who's working on like discount sites and stuff like that. That's not to say there aren't some good people out there. I'm sure there's some great deals to be had, but just be careful if that's what you're going to do. Get lots of references. Get a sample. You should always get a writing sample, right? You send them 5 pages, and they edit those for you so you can see what they look like. And they should do that for free. And if not, then you don't even want to talk to them. All right. So as an alternate to hiring somebody, there are various software packages you can get that will give you that will do types of editing, right? And not just punctuation, not just proofreading, right? You can pretty much get that out of any word processor program. But this will look at your grammar, and it'll look at like your sticky words, and it'll look at word counts, right? Do you have the same word too many times in the same paragraph? Stuff like that, right? And so it's as a secondary to hiring an editor, it's a real way to go, and it's a lot cheaper. So I like to use ProWriting Aid. They have the most clients available for the most platforms, and they're a pretty decent price. The cost is, you can either do a month-to-month subscription, which is about $20 a month, and there's no contract. So what you would do is you'd write your book, and when you get to the stage where you need the editing, then you'd sign up, subscribe to them, pay your $20, start running your stuff through their software. When you're done, you cancel your subscription. Next time you're back at that phase with your next book, you start over again, right? Subscribe again. So that's one thing to do. The other is to get a lifetime license. That's what I have. It's a little pricey. I don't know what it is right now. I want to say it's like $299 or $300-ish. But their software goes on sale all the time. I want to say I bought mine for like $150 or $200. Maybe it was $199 for a lifetime. And so I just get to use it forever now. The other nice thing about ProWriting Aid, and I'm going to show you some examples here in a bit, but the other cool thing about ProWriting Aid is that we don't all write in the same program, right? Some of us write in Word, some use LibreOffice, some use Google Docs, and there really isn't a writing platform that can't be used with ProWriting Aid. So, for instance, they have a lot of direct integration. Google Docs has its own integration. It's directly integrated to work with Google. So I just go in Google and I can work right out of that with my ProWriting Aid stuff. Word is the best one. If you're using Word, ProWriting Aid integrates so nicely and has so many more reports, right? It has tons of various reports. Use LibreOffice, or even if you're just writing on some third-party, no one's heard of before writing program, there's an app. You just run your text document through it, and it will still work. It's not as nice as when stuff is directly integrated and you can work directly on it. But so let me pull up. Not that. Yeah. Oh shit! Definitely not that. Hang on. This thing's gonna come up, and I gotta kill it. Maybe it's not coming up. Okay, I thought I accidentally did that. I guess not. There it is. All right. So, and this right here, that is my ProWriting Aid. It plugs into various web browsers as well. So, actually, if I'm doing, like, let's say I've got some online thing I'm doing, sometimes you submit if you're applying online for a job, you'll have to fill out an online questionnaire and stuff, and maybe you're going to send them your resume, and you're going to send them a little paragraph. And as I'm typing all that in, I can actually use ProWriting Aid to look at that stuff too. Same thing with my emails, right? In my Google, in my Gmail, if I put bad grammar in an email, ProWriting Aid will tell me, hey, you could fix this, you could do this, you could do that. So it doesn't just work on word processing programs; it works across so much stuff.
Do you use Grammarly also, or you don't need it with this?
I don't. Now, Grammarly is like a competitor. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's as good, honestly. I don't like it quite as much. But it's a personal opinion, right? I did try using it one time after I started using ProWriting Aid to see if it was better, and I wasn't really impressed. Okay, so we're going to go to my Google Drive now. Good thing to do with all your writing is to store it in the cloud. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want people to steal my stuff. Nobody's going to steal your shit. And it's way better. I'm sure a bunch of us have had this happen when all of a sudden some drive you were storing stuff on died. And people will be like, well, now I've got 2 or 3 drives, but they could all die, right? And that's the thing. And then your shit's gone. If it's in the cloud, you never lose it. So this is Google Drive, and there's other programs you can use as well. Google Drive is actually free for a limited amount of space. I subscribe to it, and so I actually get this really nice app that runs with it. So I actually have this drive letter. You guys have a C drive and a D drive. I have a G drive, which is just directly to my Google Drive, and they're all shortcuts. Right, and all this little cloud means here is just that it's up in the cloud. But I can manipulate stuff from here, and then it automatically goes to my Google Drive, and then it's all stored in the cloud, right? Great thing about that is, and I do that even for stuff that like Google Docs, that's its function. It works directly in the cloud. You write in the cloud, that's its job, right? But when I was using Word, I would store those files on my Google Drive too, and then anytime, because I have a bunch of different computers, I write from all of them. So anytime, no matter what computer I went to, I'm always working on the latest copy, right? I'm always updating it.
And what's the application that you said you used to do that with?
Well, for me, it's Google Drive. I just subscribe to Google Drive.
Right.
I think it costs me like $10 a month.
Yeah, but I thought you said that on top of Google Drive, you application.
Well, I've got an app that because I subscribe to Google Drive, I get access to that app. So you don't have to pay extra for that.
What's the app? 'Cause I use
It's Google Desktop, I think it's called.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's nice. You can tell it to update. You can tell it to actually download, keep a full copy on your system. Or I don't do that because I use up a lot of space. So I just tell it to keep links. But you can have it automatic. If you've got like I don't know, some file that you work on offline on your computer, you can tell it every day. I want you every time I make a change, I want you to update this, upload it to make a backup. Essentially, right? It's making a backup. All right, so I'm gonna create a little subdirectory here, Writing Aid. And so this is a short story that I wrote. This is in Google Docs. Reason I use Google Docs is you can actually tell it to do some offline stuff if you want to. A lot of people are like, I don't want to use it because what if I don't have my internet connection? But the truth is, we almost always have an internet connection. Right. It's great for collaboration. If you're collaborating with someone, it's better than Microsoft Word, right? With Google Docs, you can both modify the same document at the same time, which you can't do in Word unless they've made some change to it. You can take turns doing that, but you can't work on it together. And I wrote one of my musicals with a partner, and so that worked out great for us. But collaboration, nobody does collaboration on documents better than Google Docs does. Anyway, there is a little bit of a learning curve to this. And one of those learning curves is that there's these things called extensions in Google Docs. And what they do is they're basically little plugins that people write. So for instance, real simple plugin I had download, Google Docs, believe it or not, does not tell you, does not allow you to change your page size. Kind of weird, but they don't do it. But I was able to just go and find a free download for this add-on, and so now I could come over here and go, okay, set my page size, and it would just let me, when it eventually gets there, it would just let me change that to whatever I want, right? And it's just a little thing I download, and that's what's great, is Microsoft Word doesn't get updated that often. But Google Docs constantly putting stuff in, and it's not just the Google team doing it, it's everybody. It's all these people who know how to do these things. So there's so many plugins and stuff you can use. Pretty much will give you everything you want. The reason I bring up plugins or extensions is because that's what my ProWriting Aid was an extension written by the people at ProWriting Aid. I just had to install it. It's real easy. You go to like add-ons, get add-ons, and then you would just type like ProWriting Aid. Yeah, right. If I click that, I've already got it installed. But if I didn't have it installed, it'd have it right here and say, go ahead and install it. Now you have to log into this. This one isn't free. You have to have a license, right, for writing it, which I did. So let's show what this does now. This is a very it's a short story I did, so I didn't want anything too long, and it will do full novels, right? But it takes a long while for it to load it all up, right? So I just picked something short, and this is not my final draft. This was a few drafts prior, so we should have some problems in here. So what I would do is I'd go to extensions, and I'd go to ProWriting Aid, grammar checking, and I could do a summary report for starters, and that's going to give me an overall view of what it's finding in my document, right?
Your tone is a little confrontive, Christopher.
It probably is. So
that's
it takes a second for it to load up. There we go.
What's the tone of this sentence?
Right. So it goes through, my grammar score on this is 74%. My spelling score is 97%, and a bunch of stuff. And then there's stuff like passive voice is 1.9. That's great, right? Because passivity is one of the things you really don't ever want to do. And that's great. I'm doing real well on that. Readability, grade 2. They're not going to be reading my shit. but still, the readability is easy enough for kids to that grade, right? So that's pretty good. In fact, I don't have any very long repeated phrases. I do that all the time, constantly telling it, putting, so Fred said that he and Fred would then go to Fred's house, and Fred and him, right? And now you got Fred in there like 1,000 times. I'm the worst at that, right? That's probably, I use this program more for fixing that than anything else. Unusual dialogue tags, that's not surprising. It's my writing. All right. And so then it basically says, these are the things you might want to fix, right? My style could be higher. Right now I'm basically saying, alert me to anything under or 80% or less, right? So right here, 62%, so that's showing up. This one's already about increased to 100. Glue index, that's sticky sentences, right? And then here it actually tells you some of, what's that?
What is the style? What does that mean?
Yeah, I was going to ask that too. What does it mean?
So it's various writing styles, and we're going to go into a report in a minute that will show you some of those things it's suggesting, right?
Okay.
Down here, it actually shows you some of the issues. And remember, this is just an overall. This report's just overall. Here's what's going on with your document. Okay, I have 3 issues with the word anyway, right? And they're saying, you should put a comma before those 3 instances, right? Here I've closed with a double quotation, but I don't have an open one there, right? And stuff like that. So anyway, so that's basically that. Now the report that really you get to use is the improved document. Let that come up.
So on that last report, can you click on one of those and it goes to that place in the document?
So no, that's what this one does. Okay. So for instance, my style score. You're saying, okay, well, what's the style score? Can I make that bigger? I don't know if I can. I can't. Well, let's go and look and see what it says. So I go here, and now it's running that report. It's actually going through style here. And so here's the thing. I have 62 repeated sentence starts, right? Here's one. No, it's not that. Minori. I don't even know why Minori. Oh, I know. I want to go here. Let me get to it. No, that's just going to take me to the next one.
The reallys.
Right, yeah, I have a ton of reallys here. That's a weird one. I had fucked up big time. I don't even know what I'm doing with that. And it was like, big time I had fucked up. Nah, I think that sounds like shit, right? Mm-hmm. So, like any other editor, I don't make every edit it tells me to, right? I had fucked up big time. Now, if I were to redo this, and I might have already fixed it in the final version, I probably wouldn't put that big long dash in there, right? But big time, I had fucked up. Just doesn't have the same impact to me, right? All right, let's go here. I'm serious, man. Marcus is going to kill me. And they give you all these different things. Marcus is going to kill me. I'm serious. Marcus will kill me. And it just gives you a bunch of different suggestions on how to, because I had apparently 3 sentences in a row with the same word. Probably Marcus.
And so all those suggestions are Marcus.
Right, exactly. Now we could go somewhere else. Here's a style improvement, right? Go, said night, said softly. Go to it. All right. So it's saying, say softly is not very strong, right? So can you replace it with a stronger verb? He mumbled, right? So let's see, say softly, where is that? There it is. Please, he said softly, sit down. That's a good point, right? That is kind of a weak sentence, right? If I said, he whispered, oh, that sounds better, because I'm getting rid of that said, and that's really the problem in that sentence, right? So please, he whispered, sit down, compared to please, he said softly, right? You can hear it. It sounds so much better. Mumbled is better. Breathe, I don't know about breathe. Hissed would be the wrong tone, but whispered would be great. He whispered, right? Here's one, adverbs. You know, they usually, adverbs are okay. You just don't want to overdo them, right? And so this is saying, hey, you found a lemon. That's not bad, right? That's not too bad. But I could go, then I could get rid of this finally, probably. Where is that? Let's do occasionally. Occasionally, one of the lasers in the ceilings will shoot out and hit the crystal. Often. I could change often, or sometimes, or something else besides that adverb. If I felt like I had too many, there's nothing wrong with it. But you're just, in general, you don't want to have too many adverbs, right? See, like here, I got 48 adverbs here. I'm sure I went in and changed these, right? And it even tells you, like, really. I used really 9 times. Really is a weak word, and really shouldn't be used too often, right? See where I went there? You like that?
Yeah, I caught that. Yeah.
Right, it is. So, this is one where I would definitely want, and notice, like, if I go to one that has one thing, I can just go to it, right? And it's got this little return symbol. It will take me right there. And here's the thing, I didn't even need that apparently, right? After talking to the loan agent at the bank, no credit is worse than bad credit. That's a fine sentence. Apparently, actually slows it down a little bit, drags it. But then if I go to something that has multiple things, then I got this little go to next item, and that will just take you to every instance, and I can just jump from instance to instance. Sometimes you got to go down, like here, it was down here. This place was really spooky. The place was spooky with vines creeping up this. I didn't mean really anymore, right? Right. Now from here you can also, of course I did the style one, but I could go and say, well, let me look at grammar, right? And it'll walk through and it'll run through and find my my grammar issues, which apparently have quite a few. There you go. So it's actually, spelling score is 97%, aim for, we always want to go for 0. It never happens, but I could easily go down and see, like, here's one. This is actually, he's screaming this all in one word, but it always shows up on my, hey, you spelt this thing wrong. Yeah, because it's not a word, right? It's going, Marcus, I swear I'm going to get you the money, please don't kill me, right? All right. And then my grammar checks, I could go through that. Here's the one I use all the time, overuse, because I do this all the time. Was and were, I've got 150 of those, right? And it'll tell you, hey, you know what? Maybe you should remove about 13 of those, right? And just remove 13 of was or were, had, which is, had's not really great. It's a little passive. I got 86. It says, remove 2 of those, right? And I try to do that. I try, like this one, God, 22, just. I use just all the time. So, I should remove 22 of those, right? And just basic things.
Like, they aren't subtle, are they?
Right. They tell you, man.
Christopher, you might take
a
couple of these out.
Right? There's had.
They should say, cut 22 of them.
Right, exactly. I had fucked up. I fucked up big time, right? I didn't even need the had there, right? Yeah, exactly. There's readability, there's transitions.
Oh, shit.
Right there, transition. Let's look at transitions.
See that I have
30 pages of transition.
better, depending on what your sentence is and what time, how you're doing your time. That could be better than just I fucked up.
Yeah, no, right.
I think you should have more transitions.
Well, I would put a full stop in here anyway.
Yeah. So in this one, let's see. This may not be talking about standard transitions. It might be. Well, I think it is. It's like it's talking about time once. So it doesn't like that as a transition word, or maybe it's okay with it, but I should put more once there. I turned around. That's funny because, like, you learn shit too. Like, I never thought of once as but it is a transition, right? Once that happened, now I've just moved into the next action, right? So it's really, really interesting. A lot of great stuff you can find here. I don't know what length does. I don't think I've ever looked at that. Oh yeah, it just breaks down how long it is, how many sentences by word count. I'm sure it says how many. Here's my longest sentences, so I might want to go to, what's the longest one? Was that 34? Well, let me go there. Yeah, right. So here's this sentence. Looks really long, right? Problem is, if I had the money, I wouldn't need a credit card, I wouldn't need a loan, and I wouldn't be looking behind my back every time I stepped out of my apartment. I don't care what they say. That's a great sentence.
Yeah.
That's a fantastic sentence. So, but that's the thing. It's going to, at me as an editor, I would be like, oh, I love that sentence, and I wouldn't say to fix anything on it, but they're going to go through and bring it up, and it's good because you can look at it, and just like you get some other editor, you give it to me, I'm going to go, oh, I think you should change ongoing to oncoming, and then you're going to go, fucking right, not make the change or make the change or whatever.
I would never say fuck them about you. No, I never would.
Yeah, you're okay. All right. So anyway, number of characters I use, number of words, right? It's just a short story, so it's just 7,000.
Okay, I just saw one. My parents have been divorced since I was 12.
Mm-hmm.
My parents were divorced when I was 12. I mean, if they're divorced, they have been divorced. You really need to say it's continuing. Well, I would say my parents divorced when I was 12.
So are you saying I should fix my document, or are you saying they should have caught that? Because I published this thing a long time ago. I don't need suggestions on how to fix it. If you're saying you should have caught it, all right, this is fair enough. I don't need to fixing this. It's so far in my past, so much farther than any of you guys are. All right, and then I can go and I can pull up more. Sticky. Oh, it's a terrible one. Sticky sentences are create the evils of run-on sentences, and we're all guilty of them. So the sticky report is a good one to look at and find out. And yeah, like I said, that's what the glue index is. How many of your 91 sticky sentences, right? Let's go look at one.
So those are all run-on sentences?
Not necessarily. They're using sticky words, right? So let's go to one and I'll show you. All right. I thought about asking my folks, but I knew the way that would go. What's a sticky word?
I don't know.
But I knew it's basically I've now extended that sentence, right? I was going to do this, but then, right? Or I felt like going to the store and then, right? Anything that kind of takes where you could have basically had two sentences and you have a word sticking them together. And run-on sentences, not a conjunction, no. A conjunction is like have and not, and you make haven't, right? Isn't that a conjunction? Or is that that's a
contraction.
Conjunction, one function. Yeah, that was a contraction. Thank you. Yeah, I guess it is a conjunction, right? It's but and
you're not
or.
Supposed to use conjunction?
Like everything else, it's you can, but it's saying, hey, listen, your glue index, I'm using 48%, 48.7. My glue index of sticky words is 48.7. It's saying you should try to go for 40. So they're just telling me, get rid of like 2% of your sticky words. But that is where run-on sentences come when you start sticking and 4 times and but, or just use comma. I'm a terrible comma user. Right? That's how you get those run-on sentences is with sticky words. So, like I said, they're not all bad. It found 91. If I want to get rid of 2%, I'd probably get rid of maybe 5 of those, right?
Sometimes you want it.
Sometimes you do. I mean, you have to, right? You can't have a document with no ands or buts, right? No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You cannot.
It would be horrible to read.
Man, I'm on a roll, aren't I?
You are.
All right. Let's look at what else we got here. Clichs. Oh, we say that here in the group all the time, right?
Avoid those like the plague.
All right, here we go. In my dialogue, let's see what some of my cliches are. Here it is. On the level. This guy's on the level. We say that all. It's a cliche. You say all the time. Now, does it belong there? I think it does. Is it a cliche? Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Right? Remember, you're never going to make 100% of what any editor. If you hired me, I would not expect you to be making 100% of my fixes, right? I tell you, they would get very upset with me when I tell them, hey, you need to fix this and change this, and I would do this and I would do that, and they get very defensive. And I'm like, understand, you're paying me. You don't have to make one friggin' change that I give you, right? In my opinion, from my experience on what it should be, my editors, I probably make between 50 and 75% of their changes, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go see what other cliches I got here.
Cliches outside dialogue, because it
Right.
makes total sense to have a cliche
Where-
in a dialogue.
Where's that one?
Yeah. That's when most people
Right.
use cliches.
Yeah, let's look at one. Grasping at straws, right? That's one. Grasping at straws. Even I knew I was grasping at straws. I think it's a good sentence. Back against the wall. Bum. That's not ass, by the way. That's bum. That's bum. It is a bum. Top drawer. Now, in this case, it's not actually a cliche. He's going in the top drawer, but sometimes you say, boy, that guy's really top drawer. Right? So he doesn't know the difference between that. But I might go and look, and then I go, oh, yeah, okay, it's in the top drawer of his desk. Oh, okay, that's not a cliche at all, right? Me out. That doesn't make sense. Right, chill out. Right? Hey, chill out. Or I was going to sit there and chill out with a couple of beers. They're all cliches. And can you use them? Of course you can. But maybe you don't want to. And this is great. These reports bring you in to look and go, you know what? Actually, that cliche is pretty happy. I don't think I will use that one. But I like this one. You can get a hackneyed cliche. Man, I'm doing good on this. You can do alliteration, hominin, plagiarism. So,
Christopher, can I ask you a question
yes.
about the application or whatever the specific site that you're going to? Can you connect to it on different computers?
Mm-hmm.
Like so somebody
Yeah, you can install. So for me, mine's actually I use their tool to integrate it directly into my program. And I have it on this one. I have it on my other two laptops, right?
Good.
So I could put it on my phone if I want. I don't ever edit on my phone, but I could.
You mean if you have one license, you can do all your different devices?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, you can do them all. Yep. One license is all you need.
Including my daughter's.
Yes. And she's just going to have to log in as you.
Yeah.
So it's like Netflix. Well, not for much longer. They're going to put the kibosh on that. But,
Yeah, but
right.
you know what they tried to do? Did you see their cute little, sorry to go off subject, but their cute little thing about, you can now send a message to your Netflix partners.
Right.
Did you see that?
No.
Send a message to your Netflix partners. Just put their emails here, and we'll send a cute message to them. It's not.
Yeah.
Question, sort of on the same vein. In the beginning, you
I'm sorry. Hang on 1 second.
Sorry.
All right, go ahead.
You mentioned in the beginning that you can get a month-to-month subscription, but you sort of inferred that you had to do that while you were in the States?
No, I didn't infer that at all.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood.
Which is a cliche.
But you can get it month-to-month in Bookhead.
You get month-to-month anytime. What I was saying was we're not on a contract. So you can start it, and you could start it for this month, cancel it for next month, start it for the next month, cancel it for the next month. You'll always remember who you are because your account never expires. You just aren't paying for it right now.
If you have a lifetime, it's cheaper than Grammarly, because Grammarly is yearly.
Yeah, I like the lifetime. Like I said, if you wait, they have sales all the time. If you're on my Facebook, I always post when they have sales too. So like I say, I think I got it for $200 or $150, one shot, and I had it all the time, right? If I weren't going to pay out, if I couldn't afford or didn't want to pay, to get the lifetime, what I would do is I'm working on my book now, right? I got several more drafts to do, and then when I'm ready for the editing part, which is my second to last draft, then I would subscribe. I'd work on it. As soon as I was done working on it, I'd unsubscribe, start my next book. Once I got to that place again, resubscribe, and I would just subscribe for the times that I actually needed it. And then it's $20 a month. So if you're as prolific a writer as I am.
And you know you're going to be that way for the rest of your life.
Right. If you know you're going to spend, then in the long run, it's cheaper.
Sure.
Right. It is cheaper than paying $20 every month. For me, it's been cheaper. I've been using it for probably 10 years now.
Yeah.
So very much cheaper for me. I'm now like I've made my money back on it. So, but it's different for everybody, right? If you got just one book you're going to pump out, it doesn't make sense for a lifetime. Just get just subscribe for a month or two. And so anyway, these are all the other reports. Oh, I was going to say plagiarism. That's a great one. Whether you're a student, my daughter, I let her use mine because she was a student, or no, she writes online. She writes for YouTubers, the ones who have all the different shows and stuff. Mm-hmm. So she actually writes the stuff they do a show on, right? Mm-hmm. And so she always wants to make sure I'm not absent-mindedly plagiarizing something or whatever. And so she uses the plagiarism report for that. I use it as well just because I plagiarize. We all plagiarize because we hear something and we don't remember we heard it.
That's right.
And then you go back and you're like, holy shit, I stole that from The Simpsons. And I will say, that is where I plagiarize most of my stuff from, is The Simpsons. I'll be watching The Simpsons, like some old season, all of a sudden we go, oh, holy shit, that's in my book. Right? So, right. Well, so now here's the thing about the plagiarism report. I think, we'll take a look. But I think on that one,
I'm concerned about that myself.
I believe on that one, it's limited in the lifetime. I'm not sure. I think you only get like 3 a year or something like that. But let's see what it does. I hope it doesn't find any because I didn't run this report last time before I published it. If it finds anything, I'll get me in trouble. Does it? Yeah. I will just say that Word has some good stuff in it, but anybody else who has the same thing does it better.
Oh, sure, but I mean, if you
Word is terrible.
If you can't get it here, it's just worth sitting.
Right, yeah, definitely. This one might take forever because I'm sure it's going out on the internet and shit. And now, of course, I'm stuck. We'll just close it. But anyway, that is basically it. Very important to understand, right? If your writing is shit, this is not going to fix that, right? It's just
$200 ready.
it is just going to make you a better shit writer. That's all it's going to do, right?
You won't have run-on sentences in your shit.
Right, you won't have. This is terrible, but there's no cliches. It's great.
Very polished.
So, anybody got any?
This is the best written crap I've ever read in my life.
Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, can I put my word into that? And they can just insinuate my word document, my novel?
So, yes, there is a like I say, the integration into Word is the best one they have.
Oh,
okay. Yeah, it's
even old words. Yeah.
There are versions you have to do. I don't remember which one, but it goes back pretty far. Ooh, maybe not 2004.
Well, I probably ought to upgrade anyhow.
Yeah. It's so pricey. Honestly, if you're using Word and you have a very old version like that, you probably should update because there's so many new features that will make your life easier as a writer. However, if you don't want to pay the money like I don't, but you don't want to leave the comfort of Word, you can get LibreOffice. It's a fantastic program. It does everything Word does and better, and it's absolutely 100% free. There's no ads, and it's the whole suite. So it's it's the Office suite basically. It's not just the Word replacement. But it's great. I use that. Basically, I write everything in Google Docs. I do most of my formatting in Google Docs. until I get to having to do page numbers, and then I do that in LibreOffice. Page numbers are a huge pain in the ass. Huge. I know you guys are getting tired of me hearing me complain about doing page numbers, but it's so ridiculous how difficult it can be to do page numbers. But anyway, anybody in our home viewing audience has a question?
What's the name of it again? It's
ProWriting Aid.
ProWriting Aid.
Yeah, I'll put a link to it in the on the YouTube channel, and I can send it out in email when once I get it uploaded, this video.
Perfect.
Fantastic. I think it's a fantastic program. It is my #1 tool. It absolutely is. Next to my word processor, it is the #1 tool I use, and it has made my writing so much better.
It's a workout.
Yeah. You get so inundated with data that it throws at you that sometimes it can be a little daunting because there's so much, and you have to get in your head, I don't have to fix all these, I just have to look at them all. Right? If it comes back and says, hey, you got 1,000 sticky words, you need to be looking at it anyway, right? You got that many going. Anyway, that's all I got on this. Any last questions?
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah. All right, we're going to kill this here.